Hi, everybody, and welcome to Tarot Tuesday. And one of the things I was thinking about today is the idea of not being rushed during a reading. You know, a lot of times a client's sitting in front of us, or we feel like we've got to produce that idea or that reading right away. We've got to come up with something to say. And what I want to say is clients or people that we're reading for will be very patient with you when you let them know what's going on. So sometimes we start a reading by going, ooh, wow, okay. And like the client's sitting there going, what? You don't want to do that to somebody. You know, think about how you would feel. You want to know that everything's good, everything's fine. It's kind of like going to the doctor and having the doctor put, like they put the x-ray up and go, oh boy, glad I'm not you. You don't want that, right? So you want somebody to say to you, everything's fine. So let's take a look at your x-ray. Let's take a look at your cards. Let's take a look at what's going on with you. So a couple things that I want to just really underline. The first thing is when you're doing a reading with someone, and I do this a lot, excuse me, I'll kind of chatter for a minute when people come in. I don't want to know much. I'll do readings on the phone, sometimes with friends of mine who have clubs. And one of the things that I just want to underline is, people used to get on with me and go, well, let me tell you, my cousin and my sister, and I'm like, please don't tell me anything. Because one of the things that happens is if we let a client tell us too much information, we actually, as humans, go into our brain and start thinking about what we need to tell that person. Now, here's the caveat here. I generally say, like, what area do you want to look at? Now there's some people who can do it differently. I think when I'm reading intuitively, I really like to know nothing. I like to walk into that energy with you, with my client, and kind of go, okay, what's coming down from the heavens? So that said, what I always do is I do a very brief meditation with my client, and I'll say to my client, don't worry about this. I might yawn a lot when I read. Let's pretend I'm doing a reading for you. And I'm here and I'm reading the card, looking at my cards. And I might say to you, just give me a minute. I'm just getting myself centered here. And do I have permission to read you? And generally the client will say yes. And I seek the same permission from your guides, guardian angels. And a lot of times you'll feel an energy come over you. And you say to them, you can do this silently. And you just feel that energy of like, yes, permission granted. And then I often say, I say it because I've had this happen where, I'll go, and please give permission. And also, please let them know to speak to me in clear English so I can see and hear what I need to tell you. Because sometimes I've had situations where I've had, whoever's talking to me, spirit's coming in talking to me, and I start talking, I start going, I don't understand anything they're saying. Like they're speaking a foreign language. And sometimes I can eke out a couple words, but no, I'd rather just hear it in English because I speak English. So let's take a look at 3 cards for you today. And we're going to take a look at what this means and what's going on in your world. And first thing you need to know is that if you're sitting opposite me, sometimes you'll look at the cards, sometimes you'll see them. And just pretend that you don't know the cards. So, well, you actually don't because you can't see them right now, but you don't know what they mean, and I'm looking at them. And as a reader, I might say to you, just give me a moment. Don't make anything of my facial expressions. I'm just trying to bring in some information. So the first thing I would say to you, because what I'm looking at here, just so you all know, is I'm seeing, these are reversed, by the way, all reversed. 2 pentacles and 1 sword. And a lot of times I'll start with, what do I see first? What am I seeing first here? And so what I see first is the 5, I see the 7, and I see a knight. So the 5 and 7 of Pentacles, very interesting because what's coming forward to me is odd numbers, right? And again, because I work with chakra, the 5th chakra is the throat and the 7th is the crown. So as I'm looking at this, are you Are you communicating that you won't accept help right now? I just need to know if this is what's going on with you, and this is what I'll say to the client. I'm really getting a sense that you're communicating to others, even if you're not saying it verbally, that no, I don't want help, I want to do this on my own, which may or may not be a bad thing, but I just want you to know that what I'm feeling right now is that you're really intuitively, because I'm seeing this as a seventh chakra card, right? Because it's a 7. So intuitively you're taking stock, but you really don't want anybody to help you. This is really the thing of like, I'm not wanting help, I'm not ready for it. And notice I'm reading these right side up, by the way, everybody. And then the third card here, the Knight of Swords, is, for me, that obviously is, we know he's rushing in with information, right? So we know that he's rushing in. But one of the things I want to say to you is that in this case, we're looking at the chakra repeating itself. What do I mean? Well, once you get to the 7 in tarot, you start with the 1 on the 8s, which means they're all first chakra cards, all the 8s. So the Knight is going to be the throat. He's going to be communication, which makes sense, right? Because what is he communicating? So think of it, when you think of it in terms of chakra, what is he bringing that quickly to you? And we know from knowing this that it's a very rapid, something's coming fast, you're going to get an answer quickly, the response is coming in. And here's what I would say to you, because all of these cards are reversed. So what I would say to my client right now is, listen, you've done very well not really needing the help. You've been trying to work things out through your own meditation, through your own communication, and you're getting a response, but the response you're getting may not be coming through clearly. Is there someone in your life that you could sit down and get feedback from? That automatically puts this right side up. Now, you might look at me and go, but wait a minute, right side up, it's refusing help. But one of the things I want to say to you is I'm also saying that we don't know which character you're playing. If you think about it too, the characters in a card are going to tell part of the story as well. So when we look at this, are you the one on the crutches or are you the one in the front just bearing down and moving? So if you're this character, you might say, I really do want to stop. I want to get some assistance. And this is also can be someone who's helping you review a spiritual idea or something that's important to you. And of course, the Knight of Swords reversed means you might want to speed things up a little bit. In other words, you might be dragging out a completion of some kind. Now, let me explain that one to you. I had a gal in my spiritual club, and one of the things that came forward to her was, she said, I'm really struggling because I have one class left in my college to get my degree. And she said, I just feel like I'm struggling. And I said, well, of course you are, because the inevitable completion, the rush, you don't want to rush into complete because then you're going to have to face what's next. So sometimes we resist completion. We resist that completion. And so what happens here is, in this case, the completion is really taking stock of what's physically in your life. And remember that the swords are always, they protect or they cut. So the idea is here that you may have been protecting yourself, and now you might need to cut ties. Now, I know the Queen is the cutting ties, but remember, you might communicate it in the night. You might actually take the movement of doing it or seriously thinking about it or getting support in the Queen. So I am really glad that I got to share some of this information with you. Please, if you really liked the video, I'd appreciate it if you would give me a thumbs up on YouTube and also subscribe to my page. And please leave your comments below. I really like interacting with all of you. So much love. I will hopefully see you all next week. And I hope you have a really fantastic, juicy, amazing week. And there you have it.